my calculations are correct, when this baby hits 88 miles per hour, you're gonna see some serious shit.
They're here.
Do you really think you have a chance against us, Mr. Cowboy?
Yippee-ki-yay, motherfucker.
It's showtime.
Right, welcome everybody to another episode of the VHS Strikes Back. I'm one of your hosts, Chris, and my co-host and very good friend is Dave.
Hey there, Chris, and hello to our listeners out there. Welcome to the VHS Strikes Back, the show where we dust off the old video player and go on a nostalgic journey to look at the good and the bad movies of yesteryear. Now, Chris, what are we going to review this week?
Why are you laughing, Dave?
I'll tell you in a minute.
All right, okay. Well, Dave, it's my pick, and I really wanted some action. I wanted something different, and a movie that honestly, it's been on. I've got a list of about 30 films there that I keep every time it's my pick. I'm like, right, what do I pick? So I thought, you know what, I'm just gonna go for it. I think it's one that it was on UK TV a lot. This, but I think like a lot of people forget about this movie. So it's obviously it stars Arnie, it's Jim Belushi, Pete Boyle, Edo Ross, Dave, who is also in Lethal Weapon and some other films in 48 Hours as well. As well as Thingy as well, Dave. What's he called? The legend, the baddie. He was the Sandman in another 40 Hours. Brion James as well. We've done loads of films with Brion James. But as I said last week, Walter Hill. We've just done Brewster's Millions, 48 Hours, which I do want to talk about. I will talk about a lot with this movie. But yeah, anyway, it's Red Heat, Dave. So I can't wait to talk about this. I just used to love it as a kid because I think Arnie is just pure Terminator without the cybernetic organism, Dave, but he's just literally the T-800 and all the way through. So yeah, great movie. So where do you remember watching this one, Dave?
Well, Chris, I absolutely loved this one, and the reason I had a flashback just pop into my head just before we hit record, and a lot of people, I don't know if you remember, around the time in the late 80s would don the old flat top. And I remember the image that I had in my head was just me in the morning with my fucking hairspray, trying to get my flat top all up, and spiky, but flat, not just messy and stuff. And the thing is, in this movie, you've got Arnie, this massive beefcake, who's absolute specimen, and, a very tall flat top as well, but just utterly iconic. And thinking of me, who's probably about fucking 8 stone wet, doing the same thing with my hair, and it just tickled me for some reason. It just seems utterly ridiculous. But like I say, I wasn't the only one. And I don't know if I told you this before, but I remember one day I just had enough of it, and I was like, "Fuck this!" it just end up spending so much time in the morning just getting it all ready for school and stuff. It's just fuck that, just have it normal. And my mum was having a go, as if I'd given up on this commitment or something. You just can't be bothered. Well, partially that, but I think I am a kid. I can change my mind about what I want my hair to look like. Just a weird little memory there. But yeah, Chris, I love this. And I remember thinking Jim Belushi was so funny. He's there's just something about his humor and that contrast and the tried and tested by this point in the 80s, the buddy cop movie. Just there's something about it, wasn't it? It was a golden time for buddy cop movies in the 80s. Like you say about 48 Hours, another 48 Hours. You had Lethal Weapon the year before this, Beverly Hills Cop, which we've done a couple of, and so yeah. And then coming to this one, I loved Arnie, so I'd watch Conan the Barbarian so many times, and then Conan the Destroyer probably a few less times, but and then Terminator. So I absolutely loved these movies. I mean, the thing I find strange is coming into this movie, it's the same year as Predator, and Predator, like Dutch, he's like a normal person, whereas here he's the T-800, which apparently is, what Russian cops are. But yeah, absolutely loved it, Chris. Watched it at the time. Have not watched it for probably 25 years or something. I don't really remember watching it much in the 90s at all. But yeah, just for that short amount of time in the late 80s, watched this a few times. But how about yourself, Chris?
Well, yeah, I'm pretty much there with everything you've said, to be honest. I think I did try a flat top, Dave. It wasn't Arnie inspired, it was probably more Ivan Drago, and I look more like fucking Sonic the Hedgehog because I've got more of a round head. So my hair, I remember trying to go for a flat top and it just didn't look. This woman used to come to the house, this hairdresser, and honestly, I ended up with like spiky hair, but it was just like an electric shock. It was just like, it was just a mess, I remember. And then obviously as time went on, it ended up being a fucking centre parting, and now I've got like a sort of a quiff side parting on it, which I've had for years, sort of thing. But yeah, I remember trying to replicate it, Dave. Your fucking hair was like, if you actually rammed your head into somebody, you probably could have impaled them. It was that fucking stiff with all the gel on it. It was fucking horrendous. But yeah, I think this would have been when my cousin, I always say, had all these movies of Arnie. And again, it was a toss-up between this and Raw Deal. And Raw Deal is one that's not really talked about, but I know it's proper graphic movie. Now, whether it's still as good, I don't know, but that will be coming at some point. But I think this VHS cover's iconic. Like, if you were in the video shop, you knew exactly what this was straight away. It was red heat. You didn't have to see the writing. You just knew Jim Belushi, Arnie, absolutely on the money. But again, even what is it this time? I'm like you, I've not watched it for about 25 years, definitely. I've 100% watched it quite a few times, but not watched it for ages. And, I've always said, like Jim Belushi in a lot of movies, Mr. Destiny's a bit of a personal favourite of mine. I probably should have done this before Mr. Destiny, but again, really enjoyed it. So I just wanted to pick it. So much stupid buddy cop stuff. It's around the same time as like Beverly Hills Cop 2, Lethal Weapon, Lethal Weapon's 87 episodes, Beverly Hills Cop 2. It's like, it was just in that wheelhouse of just pure action and violence. And probably up there as violent maybe as Terminator in some respects, especially the first Terminator, but just wanted to pick it and it's just everything about what the VHS Strikes Back's about, Dave. Just pure nostalgia. So, yeah, I'm proper looking forward to this. And again, like last week's trailer, Dave, I can't wait to go through the trailer because you do a better Arnie than me, but you don't think I'm going to be doing Arnie for the whole trailer. I'm pulling it out the bag.
Well, this is an interest. I mean, obviously, we did a Scottish theme last week, and I do think that Arnie's Russian accent does occasionally stray into Scottish. But no, I'm very much looking forward to that. But anyway, Chris, should we get into our trailer?
Let's go.
In the final days of the Cold War,
when Hollywood solved international diplomacy by pairing people who hated each other, I sound like Josh Fingy of Lethal Weapon 2, Dave. Diplomatic immunity.
Moscow's toughest detective has come to America.
A man so Soviet he probably files his taxes in triplicate for the state.
Captain Ivan Drago.
Sorry.
It's Drago.
Captain Ivan Danko. Disciplined, relentless, unstoppable.
And somehow the least convincing Russian accent in recorded history. I don't know. I think I'm having a good go there. He went to India, I think, at one point.
Now the second worst. His mission: track down a ruthless criminal
by destroying most of Chicago in the process.
But first, he must work with Detective Art Ridzik.
A man whose investigative technique is shooting until something happens.
Opposites will clash.
Mostly because one of them is Arnold Schwarzenegger and the other one is awake.
Bullets will fly. Criminals will fall.
And international relations will suffer a minor setback. I've been practicing as well, this is terrible.
From director Walter Hill
comes the buddy cop movie that asks, what if East meets West and neither reads the manual?
Red Heat.
A film so 1980s it should come with a complimentary shoulder pad.
Chris, you should be under arrest for that accent.
When Soviet super cop Ivan Danko arrives in Chicago to track down a dangerous drug lord, he's paired with local detective Art Ridzik, a man whose policing style can best be described as making it up as he goes along. As the unlikely duo chase their target across the city, they must learn to work together despite speaking different languages, following different rules, and having wildly different ideas about property damage. Now, Chris, what do you reckon to the opening of this movie?
Well, Dave, honestly, at the end of this, like, you do the little bit of, I always have to have a little bit of research or just something, little things have not bugged me, but I wanted to talk about it with us, or just in general, we're just intrigued. And I think you've got a great cast in this as well, because I don't say about Arnie now, but you've got Laurence Fishburne in it, who's called Larry Fishburne, Dave, at this point, so he's not called Laurence. Gina Gershon, who she was, we haven't done Showgirls, well, yeah, but she's been in a few movies that we've covered over the last few years, 100%. And I know she's in Cocktails, which I'll probably pick out at some point. That's on my list. Face Off, she's in. We haven't done that either, but she's been in all sorts. So she's a very pretty woman. You know what you're getting with these different actors and actresses in this. But what baffled my head was realizing that Walter Hill, the director, did the screenplay, produced it, everything for the story. We did Brewster's Millions, totally unintentional. His only comedy ever made was Brewster's Millions. However, this movie is pretty much 100% 48 hours. And when we're watching it, I'm watching it and I'm thinking, that's the same music out of 48 hours. Now, when we've done stuff like Lethal Weapon, even Die Hard, there's the little bits in Die Hard that is the same musical score that's in Lethal Weapon. We've talked about when we did these reviews, and it's like a loop that was obviously like a bit of a royalty-free music that was used. And we've covered quite a few action movies where the same tone or the same synthesizers in it in a roundabout way, and in this movie is just shot like 48 hours. I've never seen the similarities, and I didn't know that Walter Hill was the director until the end, Dave. I didn't even, if he said Walter Hill, I wouldn't have even known he'd done Brewster's Millions or 48 Hours or another 48 Hours. But at the end of the movie, God's honest truth, I'm watching it thinking, I can't believe how close this is to 48 Hours. It's I love 48 Hours and another 48 Hours. We've done both of them on here. And then reading he was the director, I'm like, well, that's fucking why. Because it's shot like that. The camera work is up close. But what I found, James Cameron should have had Walter Hill, because when Arnie's entering some of the rooms, he's just literally the T-800, the way he moves his head and everything. Like, obviously, Arnie said he tried to do the robotic thing, didn't he, the way he was? And obviously people say he's acting robotic and that, but it worked for Terminator. And then you've like Robert Patrick in the second one, T-1000, and he says he made sure he didn't blink when he was shooting and that, which is an art and different things he did. There was no breath there when he was running and all that sort of stuff. And honestly, Arnie's just gone full on Terminator in this. He's like, it feels like this was made around the same time as Terminator, if that makes sense. Even though 3 or 4 years later, Arnie's in the midst. He's probably making Running Man as he's doing this. But like you say, he's got Twins out, comedy. Completely chameleon Arnie, I think, with some of these movies, which you don't get credit for, because he's in such good shape, which he had to lose 10 pounds of muscle, Dave, because Hill was not happy with how big he was, and then he told Belushi to put 10 pounds on. But yeah, I just feel like this is just 48 Hours, but with a Russian. The Russian guys, basically, Ivan's Eddie Murphy and Jim Belushi's Nick Nolte, but not as fucking nasty as Nick Nolte. It just feels so familiar, and there's nothing wrong with that, because I love this movie. But yeah, I just
sure it's not the other way around. Like Nick Nolte's the straight man. He's like the Arnie character. Yeah.
Sorry, I'm thinking of the cop. Yeah, you're right, Dave. Yeah. Just ignore that transmission. But yes, you are correct. It's a good comparison. But I don't think Jim Belushi delivers with the comedy like Eddie Murphy does, or in some of Jim Belushi's movies. But yes, it is literally just 48 Hours with just a slightly different tone to it.
I completely agree. Definite buddy cop DNA there. They basically hit all of the beats, don't they? It doesn't really deviate from that buddy cop formula. And I remember thinking Jim Belushi was so funny. Like, he's just brilliant. Is it K9 as well? We need to do that maybe at some point. It seems weirdly come out around the same time as Turner and Hooch with Tom Hanks. But yeah, Dad just thought he was so funny. And honestly, Chris, I'm watching this and I'm thinking, why did I think this guy was so funny? I mean, he just comes across in such a sleazy way. And actually, I don't know if some of the dialogue was just him kind of ad-libbing or whatever, but he always goes back to the same kind of sleazy lines, you know, trying to chat up women, and, you know, he keeps calling Arnie Gumby, you know, which must appear like almost 10 times throughout the movie. And that was a surprise to me. I was like, it is a buddy cop movie, but this would have been so much better with Eddie Murphy or someone like that, you know. I just don't think the comedy works for Belushi at all in this, but completely agree with Arnie. I mean, he looks shredded, doesn't he? You know, absolute body. And he goes into this Russian bathhouse, which is a interesting sort of shot because it's mostly naked blokes, but you got a few naked women sprinkled in the background as well. And he has to hold on to this red hot stone. And then so they get the gratuitous, you know, body shot, don't they? Because they're wrestling in the snow outside, naked and stuff. And then you've got Sven, like say, pops up in all of his movies, basically, you know, brings them along with him. But yeah, Arnie looks great, but it was a surprise as well. And I guess, you know, when you're watching this in 88, you've got no concept as a kid, and you're thinking, oh, this is what Russians are like, is it?
Yeah.
You're watching it now, it's just like he has just put in his Terminator performance and not deviated from it at all. Like the way he's delivering a lot of the lines, I guess, you know, jumping right to the end, he kind of softens a little bit, you know, he's saying we're not politicians, you know, and so I think that last scene does make him a bit more human. But yeah, if you'd have told me, you know, 3/4 through the movie, it turns out he's the T-800, you know, I wouldn't be surprised because, yeah, I don't know if it was a directing performance. I don't know if Walter Hill had just literally seen him in Terminator and said, yeah, that's for me, and let's go with that. But yeah, it took me by surprise, that one.
Yeah, and I think you're right. And I think with Arnie, when you read like the trivia, he was sold on the movie because there was no real proper script there, but the only script bit was when Arnie takes that guy's wooden leg off at the start when he's fighting them all, and that's what sold him on it. But I think you're right. Like the similarities, and I'm going to keep saying this, I know, and I'll be a broken record. I apologize, but I just can't get away from the 48 Hours similarities. It's absolute carbon copy. It's just like, it's not even the fact that the same director is there doing it, who did 48 Hours and everything, and the story and everything. It's like they don't care. And I think you're right. I think Jim Belushi, he's okay in him. I mean, what a stupid name, Art Rizdick. Where the fuck they got that from for a Chicago cop? It's nonsense. But like Arnie is just like you say, you're playing that cybernetic, like these people who come from Russia and these sort of Middle Eastern countries and all that. They're absolutely just robots, aren't they, to the cause? They did nothing. There's no get up on it. They don't deviate from the rules and all this. And even, I mean, you said Ivan Drago there, and I would have just carried on with a fucking trailer because it's literally how Ivan Drago's depicted, and he's a robot basically in Rocky IV. I know he's on steroids and that, but he's literally a robot. Yes, if he dies, he dies. But he is, because he's like, he has no conscience, does he? It's literally, there's no personality to him. And I think that Arnie plays this so well. Obviously, he's been acting now for 7 or 8 years, but he's just done Twins as well, which Twins he's playing, maybe this was filmed before Twins, but Twins he's really good in it, and that's another one we'll probably end up doing at some point. But he has got a personality in it, and like, he isn't bad at the comedy stuff. You look at what came afterwards, Jingle All the Way, things like that, lean into that stupid stuff, Kindergarten Cop, another one, you know, these sort of movies. But I've watched them all. I know you've watched them all. But yeah, but what I think is the comparisons to 40 Hours is the fact that it's really dark, and the way they shoot it, it's at like head height in it. Everything's like low level, but the effects and that are really good. Like the practical effects, the stunts and everything. And I love the fact that they made this special gun in this Magnum gun out of different props. So it's a unique gun just for Arnie. So it was like a Dirty Harry type Magnum 44. Honestly, I think it's a great movie. And like Laurence Fishburne, or Larry Fishburne as he's called in this, his voice is completely different. He's playing just this arsehole suck up in it to the main commander, Lou Donnelly, who's the guy out of Everyone Loves Raymond, and he's the dad out of Everyone Loves Raymond. But there's loads of iconic ones, Dave. Brion James, again. How many films have we done with this guy in? He's fucking legend, isn't he? He's an absolute legend, that man.
He just always plays the same scumbag.
He must have been in a few Arnie movies now. He must have been, because you've got to give Arnie credit, like you said, a bit like Stallone does. Arnie, I mean, I can't believe Franco Columbo's not in this, but he usually always has the same people, like Stallone always has his brother in him. He has these people in him who are not great actors or anything, but they're in also, he's in the Highlander films. Brion, he's in all sorts of Tango and Cash, Dave. We've done Armed and Dangerous. I'm just looking at his filmography. This, Steel, Red Sonja, Red Scorpion. We haven't done Red Scorpion, but he's doing all sorts of different ones that we've done, Dave. It's just like he's just an iconic arsehole. Blade Runner. There's all sorts of stuff here that we've done. So it feels like a who's who of just wankers. And Edo Ross, Dave, is always going to be for me the guy at Lethal Weapon when Mr. Joshua puts the lighter on his arm.
Yeah.
And he goes, "You fucking Pluto, man. You guys are out there." And that's him. But in this, he plays a great Russian. He's in Another 48 Hours. He's the baddie in that. With Brion James, it's just like a who's who of bad guys, isn't it? It's just so. I think it's just an iconic movie. I think like you can hate it all you want, but it's just got everything you want in a fucking 80s buddy cop action movie. And I think Arnie's great, Dave. All I needed was the fucking Terminator music, the do 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 when you're fucking walking around. He just needed that because he's literally just the Terminator. And like you say, body, he looks fucking phenomenal at the start of this. It's probably one of the best movies he's looked in. He looks unbelievable in this.
You mentioned about Peter Boyle as well. One of the things I'm going to inflict on you at some point is young Frankenstein, and he played Frankenstein in that. But with Larry, so I mean, it's fucking weird as well, isn't it? They call him Larry Fishburne, but I was quite. He's kind of a side character in this, and I was sort of expecting more. They didn't really do anything with him, and I think it's because the first time I really noticed him in something was obviously as Morpheus in Matrix, where he's just this absolute badass and central character. And so when he popped up there, I was expecting more from him. But like I say before, this goes completely with the buddy cop DNA, doesn't it? And when you've got, Art, you've got Jim Belushi's character there, and he's paired up with his partner. It's almost in a comedy way. He's like, "Oh, mate, you're fucked." As soon as he popped up, I'm like, well, they've got to create a space, hasn't he? It's right there on the poster. So even if I hadn't watched it before, and honestly, I didn't remember that he had a partner, but it was just one of those funny things where, he pops up, and it's as if, there's this template for buddy cop movies that you have to follow. And I think this movie does follow it quite strictly in the way it goes about things.
Yeah, I agree. I think like it just leans into every cliche. But Dave, I don't know about you, but I am just lapping this up. I am absolutely loving it. I'm smiling when I'm watching it. I'm smiling from ear to ear, going, they don't make fucking buddy cop movies like this. They don't make the over the top stupid movies that we loved as kids. Just pure action. Story doesn't mean anything. It's just all about getting the bad guys, and like Arnie's just a machine. It's Ivan Danko. I mean, he does deliver the odd line, doesn't he? He does deliver the odd line.
If you're going to cast a Russian character, he's got to be called Ivan, hasn't he? Whether you're in No Retreat, No Surrender, you're in Rocky IV, it's Ivan. Ivan the Russian.
Yeah, 100%. But I do think, and I said it just then, I do honestly think that Jim Belushi becomes a bit of an annoyance. Like you say, the Gumby thing, he said before, saying it over and over. It was a character Eddie Murphy played Saturday Night Live. I think it's a bit of a throwback to that. It's just like, he just keeps calling him that. Even at the end, you think there'd be a bit of respect. But what he should have done at the end was call him Ivan. And he doesn't, does he? He still calls him Gumby, because I think like Belushi's this like, he's not certainly not John McClane, but this like just cop he's a good guy, but he's just life just of being a cop. He's just took over him, and he's just like he's just like treading the lines. Like with Brion James, he plants heroin on him, and he's like, "What's that? Oh, fucking heroin!" And he's like, "You bad," and they're arguing, and Ivan's like, "You can't do this." So I've done enough of the accent, Dave, but he's do the accent like, you American cops are bent, basically. It's wrong and all this. But I do think what's weird, one thing that pissed me off about the movie though, is when we get to see Kat. It's just Catherine Manzetti, isn't she? Gina Gershon's character. She's Fingy's missus, isn't she? What's he called? Victor's missus. Victor. But she's his wife as such. And it's when she starts fucking jumping in front of like Jim Belushi's character, you know, when they're chasing Victor and getting in the way of things. And then Arnie, for some reason, has a bit of compassion. Ivan has a bit of compassion. She's so frustrating because there's a bit there where she should be dead. And she jumps in front of that guy with a gun who's been playing the nurse and he somehow doesn't shoot her. And I don't get that. Because there's a few scenes in this where the people who are shooting it, like Art and Ivan, they're shooting other people in the movie and they've got an absolute assassin, the Deadeye, James Bond. They don't miss a fucking shot. But then when they come face to face in a game of chicken, who's going to shoot each other first, they've got a terrible aim. They end up with the fucking stormtrooper aim just because obviously Art and Victor can't be shot, if that makes sense. Oh, Art gets one in his arse, done it at one point. But just what I mean, like there's a few bits like that. The nurse guy who's killed that guy, and then you can see it's a guy dressed up, but Arnie bangs into her and then doesn't like go, oh yeah, that looks like a guy, you know, and then it's like the nurse. But even then, Art, instead of just like chasing the nurse who's trying to get the lift, stop you. And it's like, well, he's going to run in it. Let's be honest. That's all the most stupid things in these movies. But yeah, she pisses me off in this, that cat, because I know she ends up getting killed by
off screen.
Victor. Off screen again, yeah, off screen. She's quite an important character, but we do get that like dance scene, which is very Jamie Lee Curtis with John Travolta, Dave, and she's at the dance school sort of thing, but very attractive woman.
Now, I was trying to work out the timeline, and it does amuse me. You got this, you know, Russian, this is it Albanian? They're trying to play.
I think they're supposed to be. Is it not Serbian? It's all to do with Yugoslavia in it as well. Georgian mafia. So it's Russia,
Georgian, right. But played by Ed O'Ross.
I know.
It's just brilliant.
It does look Russian, though, to be fair.
No. Well, yeah, I guess he does. But, I mean, again, this is 1988, isn't it? So Russia is basically everything, I don't know, east of Germany, pretty much. You know, you've got the Ukraine in there, you've got the, like you say, Georgia, and all of these countries we didn't know were there, and we just knew of as the Soviet Union. Not even particularly Russia, was it? It was Soviet Union at the time. But with Kat, I was trying to work out the timeline, right? Because when we meet Victor and Arnie at the start, you know, Ivan, they're in Russia, and obviously you got this drug trade. So I don't know. Does the actually, when you said about him taking his leg off there, I instantly remember. I didn't remember much about this movie, but I remembered that cocainum. Just the way he says it there, like, oh, is that? I guess that's Russian for cocaine then. But I was trying to work out, like, because Victor's married to Kat, and she obviously, it doesn't seem like just a green card situation. She seems to actually want to protect him and stuff. And I was trying to work out the timeline. Is it like, is there this, you know, drug trade that they've got between Russia and the US? I just the practicalities and the timeline of it confused me a bit with her character.
Yeah, I think it was to do with the Reagan and Gorbachev, like, friendly nature. That's what it was. There was a little bit more of a but when they would have got together, yes, there's no way. How would she have got over there? How would she have lived there? And that thing, because I was reading about, like, when they filmed stuff, they did film stuff in what's it called? Red Square. But then they weren't sure when they could because of the permits and
I mean, it's shot so well, isn't it? But apparently they did it in just guerrilla fashion. They didn't have permits or anything. They just went and fucking shot it with minimal crew.
Well, that's what they said, and then they shot quite a lot of it in Austria, and I thought, well, that was at Arnie's request to go see the family. But yeah, they did a lot in Austria as well because they weren't sure. But I'm right. I review the cinematography is good, but I love the fact that they use these fucking buses more. And apparently it was to do with the fact that they said Arnie was too big and he didn't look right on camera when he was sat in a car doing not all the scenes, but some of the scenes. So that's why they used coaches, because it was like it made it more impactful because of Arnie, because of his presence on screen and that. But I mean, he does smack that bloke who's trying to rob him with a baseball bat when he's in the car. But Arnie's only about 5'11", 6 foot, really. He's not like, they always do 6'2", 6'3". He's not. We see that with Lou Ferrigno, who's 6'5", but he's just wide, wasn't he? When you see someone, it's just such awesome.
Now, this is nowhere near Commando in terms of Arnie one-liners, to be fair, but I do like, because obviously between Ivan and Art, you've got this difference of approach. You know, they're both cops, but I mean, Art just seems like a bit of a joker, doesn't he? I mean, nowadays you'd be checking his hard drive. He's definitely a bit of a sleazier character. I don't think he necessarily had to play it quite so sleazy, but he's trying to say to Ivan, you know, you can't just do what you want as a cop or whatever. So he's trying to teach him about the Miranda rights and stuff. So when that guy's coming up with the baseball bat, like you say, and he's being a bit of a dick about it, and he's like, do you know Miranda? No. Doof. Just clocks him one. And so, yeah, I did like that line, to be fair.
Yeah, there is a couple of bits, but they said they didn't want to go full on, like you say, fucking, Commando's one of the greatest ever. For it. Yeah, knock. Oh, he's just sleeping it off. Yeah, he just snapped his neck and all that stuff. Yeah, or that guy hanging around when he fucking has him upside down. Another 48 Hours alumni.
He's dead tired.
Yeah, that was it. That's it. I fucking love it. But I think as a movie and as a spectacle, it's great. I mean, there's that bit in there where, like, them guys turn up and they've got the guns, and he's like, it's the Harlem Globetrotters, we're going to get killed. And he's like, give him your gun, put your gun. And he's like, no, Chicago cop never, relinquishes his gun. And then they all fucking go like, with the automatic. He's like, there you go. There's all bits like that. And one bit that was exactly like 48 Hours is when Victor and them guys come to Ivan's apartment. And they come to get him. That is exactly like when Nick Nolte, what's he called? Reggie, he's called Reggie and Eddie Murphy in this. Reggie and Jack Cates. And they come to get the baddie at the time, Gans, and they have that whole shootout. Exactly the same. There's a call girl there. She's used as bait when she gets killed in 40 hours. But it's the same scene, literally. But this time, obviously, Ivan, he's just the Terminator. I mean, Arnie looks phenomenal in that fucking wife beater top anyway. His arms are that massive, but he just looks great. And he just takes them all out, doesn't he, with that gun? That gun, you know what that gun reminded me of, Dave? A lot of RoboCop's gun. It just reminded me of RoboCop's gun because it was fucking massive and it fired like that as well. So, I just, so much happiness watching this movie, but there's just silly bits all the way through it. Same cliche. Larry Fishburne's been a dick. He's after Art in here, because of the way he works. He doesn't
play by the rules.
No, it's the same. I mean, how many times has he done that? Do you know what I mean? How many times?
Yeah, but I think that you mentioned about the buses, and you have this game of chicken, don't you? And like neither of the Russians, so Victor nor Ivan, they're not going to give up on this game of chicken, and it's Art who ends up, turning the wheels so they don't end up with a head-on collision. But then Victor just gets taken out by a train. Like that's not ideal. I felt like there should have been some kind of real showdown, like the end of Lethal Weapon or something like that, with Victor and Ivan going toe to toe, something. But I felt a little bit cheated at the end there.
Yeah, I think the thing is, he's not a physical match for him, is he? That's like the whole point. Isn't it?
Yeah.
We could have a fucking Bennett situation where we've got the camp Freddie Mercury with his fucking fishnets on, fucking trying to fight him. You know what I mean? We could go down that route.
This is the way he goes. It was ridiculous, isn't it?
Well, the thing is, we know, to be fair now, we know with Commando that guy who plays him was not supposed to be the baddie, was it? And he wasn't in training or anything. And if he'd known sooner, he would have trained, but they had to use him. He was a great baddie, but he just wasn't a fit for Arnie, was he, at the end? He needs to really, we said it, we did Commando, we need someone who's bigger than him, who's huge. Or if he's not bigger than him, he's got a henchman or henchwoman who is absolute nails, who can just they're harder than him basically and could lever him in a fight, and it's about him just, saving himself within an inch of his life sort of thing. But we didn't with Bennett. It's just fucking taking the piss. Everyone goes on about Bennett. But again, it wasn't his fault. The guy who played Bennett, he was just thrown in there, wasn't he, that Aussie guy, or New Zealand. But then also...
No, he's Aussie. He was in like Mad Max stuff.
Mad Max, yeah. Vernon Wells, isn't it? Vernon Wells.
Weird Science as well.
Yeah, Weird Science. Yeah, he plays the same character, doesn't he? In Weird
Pretty
Science.
much, yeah.
But yeah, Vernon Wells. But he was a big guy. He was as big as Arnie. He said it at the time. I was just sat there fucking doing nothing, basically, eating food. But so with this, Edo Ross is not a big guy, but maybe he should have had a couple of big monsters that Ivan had to go through to get to him. And I know we saw that weird thing. They bigged up that little silencer he put on his spud gun, but that wasn't really a big thing. But you're right, we do get robbed of it. And I think even at the end, it does seem to go on longer. Usually these movies wrap up. So once Victor's gone, we're getting all this like chat in the police station, aren't we? And all this. And again, like say, call him Gumby. That's when he should have called him Ivan, as if like Art's got the respect for him to go, you know what, he's a fucking good guy, this guy. And I don't feel the end that relationship should have been a bit like Beverly Hills Cop, where you'll laugh at Axel Foley in the first one. At the end of it, they're all mates, aren't they? Because they've gone through this adversity and that, and they're saving him. They let him go because really Bogomil and Taggart and Rosewood are just like sort of playing up like they don't like him. They're playing everything by the rules, aren't they? And then Axel's just been taking him on this merry dance, and then at the end they save him by lying, which is gone against everything they've done in the movie. And I feel that that's what we should have had. We should have had a bit of respect, or shown them both doing a bit of fishing in fucking Russia or something, Dave, or there was going to be a second one which never came out, when it's like, yeah, we're going to send you over there sort of thing to Art, something like that. Maybe that's what they were going for, but I feel there's just a couple of bits that just let it down a little bit at the end, really, just to finish out the story. But I agree, Victor's death is not how it should have gone, really. He should have got his comeuppance and got levered.
Yeah, and honestly, Chris, I promise I won't labour on this for pretty much every week as we record or whatever, and focus on people's ages. And I will come back to that, but I was just looking. Peter Boyle in this movie is 3 years older, or was 3 years older than I am now.
Stop it. Fucking stop it.
3 fucking years, man. Honestly,
it's terrible.
Just looking at that, just you were speaking there, I'm like, oh, fuck off.
Yeah, fucking life is fucking rubbish at times. Fucking hell. Were we 40 odd when we started this, Dave?
Yeah.
Oh my god. But I think joking aside, like, I think it's still a great movie, but it's just there's a few bits that could have ended better, I think, for us.
Yeah. So, I mean, what I was thinking of, and Crocodile Dundee springs to mind, where we were commenting on a lot of these movies just end suddenly. And they could have done that here as well, couldn't they? You could just killed off Victor and then it ends. But you do get the bit that's tagged on to the end. And I feel like the bit at the end is almost it's not quite going as over the top as Stallone did. Oh, that was an unintentional pun there. But at the end of Rocky IV, he's giving the speech to the whole crowd, isn't he? Because at the end of the match, they're all shouting for Rocky, and he gives his whole, on his soapbox kind of speech. I feel like, again, this is still in the Cold War. So, 89 was when, like you say, the Hoff got up on the Berlin Wall and whatever. But, so I feel like that was part of the message of the movie as well at the end. And like I say, I did like the line where Arnie's saying, we're not politicians. And again, some of his accent, I do think, borders on Glaswegian in this movie, but...
You just need to do the old, I can change, you can change, everyone can change.
Yeah.
Oh, Adrian, I'm coming home.
Yeah. So yeah, I did like that moment, but I think you're absolutely bang on. The whole Gumby thing, and that's why it feels to me like it's a Jim Belushi thing more so than someone wrote it in the script. It's like, he's just not that funny, and he's landed on this thing, and he's overused it throughout the movie, and he's just almost used it like a crutch to throw out there. But when they're introduced, he doesn't know this guy, doesn't like this guy, and there should have been some kind of softening towards it. So, yeah, I think that would have been a nice little addition there.
I agree. So shall we get into our scores, Dave?
Let's go.
So, Dave, I'm dead pleased I picked this. The classic. I was smiling quite a lot through this, but that comparison to 48 Hours just hasn't left me at all. Like, Walter Hill's just stuck to what he's good at. And I think he delivers. I think the music was literally 48 Hours, especially the original one. There was definitely bits there and some of the fighting gun scenes and that, especially when Arnie was getting chased by them guys. 100% think he's lent into that way he shot it. Arnie coming in some of the rooms, especially when they come to his apartment to get him and he pulls the gun like Dirty Harry, and he just looks like the Terminator. I just wanted the to come on, because he was just the T-800. It was not even, they weren't even, and this was before Terminator 2. So he's got the flat top in this, and he didn't have a flat top really in Terminator 1. It was only later on he had like a sort of floppy hair for quite a bit in that movie. It's the second one he's got the flat top, but absolutely iconic. And I think you're right. I think like we were just sort of, the ending just robbed us of Victor getting a proper comeuppance when he gets the shit kicked out of him by Ivan, I think, especially. So great movie, Dave. I'm going to do the same thing. I'm going to send it to Hill Valley. I think it's a great movie. I'll 100% watch it again. It's not I wouldn't say it's one of my favourite Arnie movies, but it's certainly enjoyable, certainly up there. Like I always say, Pumping Iron, T2 and Running Man, they're my three. I did like Jingle All the Way, actually, the video. They're my three Arnie pinnacle movies for me all day long. So, and just out of interest, Dave, watch The Running Man, the new one, with Glenn Powell on the way back from Vegas this year. And obviously I know it's based on a book, which I'm never going to read, but I actually enjoyed it. Really enjoyed it. Some people didn't. I enjoyed it. I don't know anything about the book, but I actually really, really enjoyed the movie. I think Glenn Powell's pretty good as well, to be honest.
He is generally quite good. I've not watched it myself. I think it's different enough. If they're just trying to make it like the movie, and obviously the movie deviated quite a bit from the book apparently. But yeah, I will catch that at some point. But
I'd recommend it.
You're never going to top the original, but I don't think it tries to. It does make it different enough.
Exactly. So what about yourself, Dave?
Now, Chris, I am very torn with this one because actually I don't think this is a great movie at all. I think for the buddy cop formula, I just feel like there are so many other better movies than this one. They just do it better. I think that, like say, 48 Hours, Beverly Hills Cop, Lethal Weapon, I just feel like they do it better than this movie. I don't think Jim Belushi comes across, I don't think he's that funny. I don't think he's that endearing at all. And the fact that Arnie plays a Russian, but he's basically the Terminator sent from the future, it was like, okay, that's a choice. And I guess it's designed to play that contrast, but I think it was a bit too close to Terminator for me. But the reason I'm torn is just because it does fill me with nostalgia. So I feel it getting pulled up from that because I'll watch this again. I did enjoy it going through it, despite all of the little nits that I'll pick in it. So yeah, I'm probably going to put it Hill Valley as well. But I think objectively, I don't think it's as good as that. I think it's a little bit down from that. But the fact that it is just this warm sensation when I think about the movie, it has pulled up. But I wouldn't be able to argue against anyone who said, it wasn't as good. So it's not one I don't think I'd be showing the kids and saying, oh, you really enjoy this. But yeah, definitely did enjoy going back and revisiting it.
No, good stuff, Dave. Good stuff. Yeah, it's a different pick, and I'm glad that I'm now ahead of you, Dave, or after you, which is perfect. So anyway, Dave, it is a Patreon pick next week. So what have we got in store, my friend?
So, Chris, we are having a bit of a John Candy theme this year. So this one is Chris's pick, like say, new Patreon coming at the Top Gun level. At the Top Gun level, you can choose your late fees as well. So anything after 2005, or if you wanted to do earlier, but it's like an extra pick that we release on the Patreon. But for the regular pick, Chris, he's gone to a movie that I've never actually seen. but it does star John Candy, that we've done a few movies of now. And this one is called Summer Rental. Now let's get into the trailer.
I have no idea what this is about, Dave. Obviously, John Candy special, but
Sort of, the title reminds me of that Australian one that we did.
Acknowledge, please.
Wet and
Acknowledge,
Wild Summer, was
please.
it?
Where are
Yeah.
you?
It's okay, Jack.
It's not okay. I got a small plane here. I don't know where it is.
Another 1985, the same year as Bruce's Millions.
Look, Jack, you've been landing planes for 13 years. Face it, you're burned out. You need this rest.
So Jack Chester's taking that lead.
Oh, this is great.
I love
Renting a
the
beach
trailer
house.
guy when he does a voice like
And getting the
this.
family ready for the best month of their lives.
Oh. Grab the milk, please. Here. Thank you.
Quiet and secluded,
Come on, get out of here.
with outstanding facilities,
Sit down, relax. All right.
perfectly situated.
Holy fuck.
Dave, this looks absolutely
friendly
awful.
neighborhood.
Can't
It
wait.
doesn't look, well,
Similar?
I just got them.
Who had them before you?
John Candy's gonna discover what a month in paradise
What? Open the door.
is all about. Summer Rental.
There's probably a reason we've never heard of this one, Dave. This doesn't look good, this at all. See, Chris knows the assignment, Dave, straight away. He's been listening for a long time, so yeah, he knows exactly what he's doing with this. This is more of a stitch up than pleasure and
it
pain.
does look, yeah, it looks more on the pain side, doesn't it, this one?
Oh my God. But anyway, thanks, Chris, and thanks again to everyone as always. If you want to email us, the VHSStrikesBack@gmail.com. If you want to follow us on social media at VHSStrikesBack. If you do want to support us, please get over to patreon.com/the VHS Strikes Back. So the roll call of honor. A big thank you to Chris, Graham, Matt, Reese, Nick, Greg, Gareth, Mike, Lee, Helen, Dylan, Dan, Justin, Susan, Tim, Matt, Ken, Lucky Little Green, Dan, Jack, Math, Blake, John Hammond, and Mr. Tony Farina. So thank you so much, guys, for all your support. I'm looking forward to that next week, Dave, probably for all the wrong reasons. And if that's not on YouTube and it's a wholesome, then
it's got
YouTube's
to be,
doing us a
hasn't it?
disservice. Yeah, either that or they've just got rid of it because it's so poor. But you can just tell. But either way, Dave, I love a bit of John Candy, so it might surprise us. So let's see. But anyway, Dave, as it's my pick, I didn't just throw this song together as we were recording. That is absolutely scandalous, and didn't email you as we were recording. But I have gone, Dave, with a movie about a movie, not a movie. I've gone with a song based on this movie. Little bit 1980s, a little bit of comedy, Dave, with a very much a Russian influence. So this song is called Red Heat, and as always, this is the pinnacle of musical maestro, Dave. So can you hit play, my friend?
Off we go. Oh, pulled it out of the bag again.
Yeah.
Oh, I love it. John Hammond is going to be lapping this up.
Yeah. And it wasn't just the first thing that it made, Dave, in the AI stuff, but there you go.
From the cold streets of Moscow town, big guy that never messes around. Steel-eyed stare and a Soviet frown, and Chicago spins his world upside down. Got a badge, got a gun, got rules to obey.
Oh, I love this.
But his new partner talks all day. One says procedure, one says relax. Together they're a diplomatic heart attack. From Red Square to the Windy City lights, they're chasing crooks through the neon nights. Different worlds, but the mission's clear. And somebody pass another beer. Red heat, everybody move your feet. One from Moscow,
lyrics.
one from the street, making criminals taste defeat. Red heat, body cops who can be beat. One likes order, one likes fun. Together they're a smoking gun. He doesn't laugh and he doesn't smile. He's been serious for
Billy
quite
Idol.
a while.
Yeah.
But his partner's jokes keep breaking through. Even Soviet still needs laughter too. Car chases, shootouts, chaos and noise. two grown men acting like boys. Different languages, same old fight. Trying to make it through another night. Red heat, red heat. Everybody move your feet. One
I love that line.
one from the street.
Got a bit of lyrical genius.
Taste defeat. Red heat, red heat. Body cops who can't be beat. One likes order, one likes fun. Together they're a smoking gun. Vodka dreams and Chicago blues. Neither one knows quite what to do. But when the bad guys hit the floor, they're asking for a whole lot more. Red heat, red heat. Turn it up and feel the heat. East meets west on a crazy beat. The world's most unlikely team complete. Red heat, red heat. Raise your glass and grab a seat. Action, laughs, and movie gold. A buddy cop story that never gets old. Red heat. Comrade approved.
Oh, I love
there
that.
You go. Yeah, there you go, Dave.
The synth, the rock guitar, I love it. And of course, the rhyming of heat with so many things. Red
Feet,
heat,
I know,
move your feet.
ridiculous. Yeah, lyrical genius, Dave. Noel Gallagher shitting himself, but there you go.
Very good, sir. Very good. Well, I can't wait for next week. Another bit of another bit of John Candy. And thank you very much, sir, for today. And thanks to all our listeners out there. Thanks to all our supporters. And we'll speak to you next time.
Bye.
That's it, man. Game over, man. It's game over. What the fuck are we gonna do now? What are we gonna do?
Maybe we could build a fire, sing a couple of songs, huh? Why don't we try that?
We better get back, because it'll be dark soon, and they mostly come at night. Mostly.
I'll be back.
That's not. We came, we saw, we kicked its ass.
Wax on, wax off.
Get to the chopper!
One ring to go.
All right. Ding, ding.
Bust you up. Go for it.
Well, here we go. Ain't so bad. Ain't so bad. Ain't so bad. Come on. Ain't so bad. You ain't nothing. Come on. You must be crazy or something. I'm crazy. You just a stupid fool.
Yeah, maybe
you crazy.
I ain't breathing heavy.
He's a fool. He's stupid. I'll see you in 6 months.